What's up everybody, Jason from Chicago Auto Pros. Today we're going to be doing a how-to watch video. We got Mark from Savage Geese here. We're going to be watching this LC500 Lexus that he brought in. We're going to show you the tips, the tricks, the chemicals, and the tools you need to know on how to do a proper wash. First thing that I want to teach you, Mark, is about scratches and micro swirling, because contrary to what most people think, they don't come out of thin air. There's a lot of things that can contribute to micro scratches, swirling, and basically your paint's really delicate. Anything that touches that surface could cause damage to it, including dry wiping the car with a microfiber, hand washing, wiping the snow off with a brush, or bad buffing techniques, bad machine buffing techniques. So all this can contribute to swirls and damages, especially car washes. Car washes are probably the #1 contributor to micro swirling and these small, finer scratches that you're going to see in your paint. We talked about how delicate the paint is. So you have when you're driving, you got all kinds of things that can get stuck to the paint surface. You got dirt, sand, salt, bird droppings, bugs. All this stuff, when you're washing the car, can be grinded into the paint, and that's where scratches and swirls come from. So washing your car is important, but the way you wash it is even more important, because you got to remember all this stuff, all this debris, it could just be causing damage if you're not doing the proper techniques.
Gotcha. So it's not so much it getting on there. Well, obviously you don't want debris on there, but it's removing it that is the delicate process.
How to safely remove that without grinding it into your.
Okay. So I guess from my perspective and normal people's perspective, why do these things cause scratches? What are you really scratching on the car?
So with a paint system, I mean, you have your primer, you have your base coat, and then you have your clear coat. And clear coats are hard and they're durable, but it's what takes all the weathering. And different paint systems, different manufacturers all have different types of paint. So you have soft paint and you have hard paint. Soft paint scratch is really easy. I mean, some of that paint you can just scratch with a microfiber towel, even if it's perfectly clean. That's how easily and delicate it is.
Okay, so that's why you have to take so much care in the washing procedure of your car.
Yes.
Because basically anything that's on this paint surface could be potentially scratching the top coat.
There you go.
All
yes.
right.
Time to get down and dirty. First step of the car wash is to rinse it. We want to get all the standing debris off the vehicle. You don't have to use a pressure washer. You can use just a regular hose, but a pressure washer is just going to be that much faster, quicker, and more efficient.
This table is loaded. This is what you carry around with you all the time?
Oh yeah, in my pocket.
You have like 20 backpacks. What is all this stuff? Are you gonna talk about every single bottle you have on this table?
We won't talk about every single bottle, but this is a lot of the stuff that you need to properly wash your car. So we're gonna go over it individually. I mean, like I have a whole soap section here. All right. Learning about soaps. Soap is a lubrication when you go to wash your car that'll encapsulate any dirt or particles that are on your car so you don't scratch or create swirl marks. And there's different types of soap. You don't want to use like a Dawn dish soap that has a degreaser in it. It's going to strip off any wax or protection that you have on the car, and then it'll dry out any trim or rubber moldings that you have on the car. So there are a lot of different soaps on the market, and some of them are, what I look for in a soap is I like a thick concentrated soap. And most of the car washes, soaps are going to be pH balanced. I mean, if they're dedicated for car washing, so you won't have to worry about that. Some of them have wax in it, so you'll see a wash and wax type of soap if you want to have a layer of protection that adds into that.
And the pH balance is important because you have acidic and you have alkaline, so right. The acidic is bad for the paint, clearly.
Yeah, it'll strip off any type of protection that you have on there. So if you just wax your car and use a bad soap, yeah, you don't have any type of protection on there. Now that we got everything rinsed, all the big debris off the car, there was a lot of mud chunks and everything on, but the car is still dirty, so we're going to use this foam can, and this is actually optional. This is going to further help break down all the dust and everything on this vehicle. So before we put a wash mitt, we're going to spray this foam on the entire car. We're going to let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to rinse it off. All right, onto the wheels, which is one of the most difficult areas to clean when you're doing your hand wash. behind the caliper. You can see here it's hard to get to, and you got all these spokes and everything. I mean, if you really wanted to get super crazy about it, you could pull this wheel off and clean it. It'd be much easier. We're doing it with the wheel on. And we're going to start by cleaning the barrel of the rim. And there's lots of different tools. One of the most popular tools is this wheel face brush. And this is pretty aggressive. These are a shiny black, gloss black. I don't want to use this aggressive bristle on it. So I'm going to use this tool, which is a wheel woolly, to get back into the barrels of the rim. And then I'm going to use a wash mitt to get the face of the wheels. I'm going to start by spraying our wheel cleaner here. AM Wheels. This is a non-acidic cleaner. I want to spray inside the wheel wells. Usually from top to bottom is best. Let everything flow down. Let gravity work for you. We'll spray this, and it's always best when you're using any type of chemical, let it dwell for a couple minutes. That's what the chemical's for, is to break down all that dirt, grease, grime, all that brake dust particles, everything built up. You can spray the tire, and then spray the wheel well too. In my wheel bucket here, I actually filled it up with water and soap and everything so I can rinse my tools off after I clean a section of the wheel. Again, we're going to start from the top. Get our wheel woolly in there. And this takes a little time. You got to kind of work this back and forth. I want to get back behind the spokes. So I work my wheel woolly in there behind it, all the way back to these are deep wheel wells here. There's a lot of different types of wheel cleaners. You have alkaline, you have acid wheel cleaners. I try to stay away from the acid cleaners just so I'm not breathing them or get them on my skin, damage anything. So a lot of the wheel cleaners that are out there are non-acid wheel cleaners, and there's a lot of good wheel cleaners out there. When it comes to wheel cleaning, if you're taking care of your car and you're maintaining it and you're washing it every week or every 2 weeks, you have to use a heavy degreaser or cleaner for the wheels. I mean, you could even use a car wash soap if you really take care of it and maintain it. If you get into something to where you haven't washed it in a while and you have built up brake dust, you can use some heavier wheel cleaners here. I have some iron removers. So if you ever see iron particles or the yellow, you kind of see that yellow on your wheels and everything, that's built on brake dust that's actually starting to rust, and the iron removers will remove it.
Are there certain cars that have more of that problem? Is it?
So yeah, if you're looking at a white car, if you're looking at something with silver wheels, that's when you can really see that iron, but you're gonna see it all. If you come down to, if you have some black glossy rims, you're not gonna see it as much.
But there's other things with glossy rims you have to be careful with, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, that's when we would come into wheel brushes. So the wheels can scratch just like your paint does. It's still just a base coat, clear coat. So I wouldn't use anything with bristles on a high gloss wheel. I would use more something like this. This is a wheel woolly. It has a microfiber head and it's really soft. And then sometimes I'll use a wash mitt on the exterior of the wheels too. So you can have a dedicated wash mitt for the body and one for the wheels. Moving on to the type of media that you want to use when you're washing your car, which is important. I've seen a lot of people wash their cars with big yellow sponges, and you know, it's not the proper way to do it. I mean, the car washing industry has advanced a lot in the last couple decades, and these are the mitts that we like to use. These are microfiber. I call them the dreadlock mitts. This is an auto fiber zero cuff mitt here. Other great mitts from Reg Company here. This is another type of just soft microfiber type of mitt. You know, when we're talking car wash, you can get as crazy as you want. You can really get in depth with it.
The mitts, what's the purpose? Is it because it absorbs a lot, or is it because it helps to encapsulate the dirt and take it off? Or
yeah, so you see all these fibers and everything. If you have something that's flat and doesn't have any porous type of things to it, yeah, that all the dirt and the salt and everything, you're going to be just grinding it into the paint basically, and this holds all that dirt and all the particles inside the mitt.
So that kind of reduces the sandpaper effect of scratching the paint. Okay.
Exactly. Moving on, you know, you don't want any sand or anything, debris in the type of mitt, so you can actually put one of these. This is a dirt lock bucket insert that you can put in the bottom of your bucket, and that kind of traps all the debris and the sand and dirt below this, so when you put your mitt back in the bucket, you're not dragging that back onto the car.
I'm standing by water pipes.
Yep.
water tank, hoses, buckets.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here?
And the water that you use to wash the car is very important, because if you use hard water, you can end up with hard water spots, which you don't want on your car. So if you're washing outside in the sun and you do have hard water and it dries on your car, that water evaporates, and there's a lot of minerals and impurities in hard water, and it dries on your car and it leaves a water spot. If it bakes in the sun, it's actually going to etch into the clear coat, and then you have to use a machine to remove those hard water spots. Yeah, these are regular 5-gallon buckets, so what we're going to be doing is the 2-bucket wash. And what I want everybody to know, your viewers, there's more than one way to wash a car. This is the 2-bucket method. You fill one with just regular water and one with soapy water. And the whole point of this is to, when you're washing your panel and you have a dirty mitt, you're going to wring it out and rinse it in just the water one. And then we're going to put it in the soap one so we can have the cleanest mitt possible when we bring it back to the car and wash it. There's another method out there. I mean, you can have 1 bucket. You can put 10 mitts in it if you want to, and just use 1 mitt per section. And then you can wash a bunch of mitts later if you want to.
So you want a clean mitt and a dirty mitt, basically.
Yeah.
The most basic.
Yeah, you want to get all the grime that you just took off the car out of the mitt so you don't drag it and transfer it onto other panels. All right, onto the washing process of the body. We got 2 new mitts. We got new water in our buckets. And we're going to start washing from top to bottom. Most of the debris on your vehicle is going to be on those bottom areas, so we're always going to leave those to last. We'll start with the hood and the top here. When I'm washing the vehicle, I never want to scrub anything. I'm just going to use the weight of the mitt here, and I'm going to keep it from falling on the ground. Usually, using just the weight of the mitt, I'm not going to put any pressure. I'm usually going to wash 1 to 2 panels depending on how dirty the car is. So I'll wash the half of the hood here in the windshield. I'm actually going to flip the mitt over. I'm going to wash another 2 halves of these panels. I'll wash the roof and then the back glass. After you wash a section, you want to rinse the mitt off. Any sand, dirt, and debris in this mitt could potentially damage the finish. We're going to dip it in our water bucket here. We have a grit guard at the bottom. We can rub it against that to really loosen up all that soil on there. Wring it out, back into the soap, and repeat the process. One thing you want to refrain from is scrubbing everything. If you have bugs, if you have sap, if you have tar, if there's something stuck to your car, scrubbing it off is not the proper way to do it. A lot of those items can be taken off by other products or other chemicals or other techniques, and you can safely remove those products. Scrubbing them is just going to cause scratches. All right, this next step might have your neighbors looking at you funny when you walk out of your garage with a leaf blower to dry off your car, but it works really well to get all the cracks and crevices, all the water that's standing in the mirror. It works really well to get all that off the car. Coming to actually when you're done washing the car, you're going to rinse it. It comes to drying the car. So this can be the biggest contributing factor to installing swirls and scratches into your car if you're not drying it properly, because once you start drying it, you don't have any lubrication. When you're washing the car, you have lubrication, you got soap. So picking on the right towel is important. You don't want to use your bath towel from at home, the terry cloth towels. You want to use something with microfiber. That's a microfiber weave that you have there, very absorbent. Those are the ones we use here. And then when you're actually drying the car too, we take it an extra step. We use a quick detailer or a spray wax or something that's going to lubricate that towel when we're wiping down the car. So these products here will add lubrication, and it's also going to add another layer of protection.
Okay. So it sounds like to me everything is about keeping the paint surface clean as possible and lubricated when you're rubbing it with anything.
Yep. Last step after washing, we're going to dry the vehicle, and we got 2 high quality microfibers that we're going to use for this. And I have 2 different towels. I use one for my main towel to soak up most of the water, and then a second one to dry up anything else that may be left behind. We're actually going to use a maintenance spray. This is like a spray wax or a quick detailer. It's going to add lubrication to the towel, and it's also going to add a layer of protection. This one's coated in Modesta, so we're going to use Modesta's M2 Blast. there's not really a right and wrong way to dry a car. There's a more efficient way. You know, you've seen people do it in circles. It's not really efficient with your hands going all crazy. You're probably gonna miss some spots. So I like to use like the box technique, where I'll just start in one area and I'll use overlapping passes and I'll box it out. After you're done washing your vehicle, don't get too discouraged if you still have contaminants that are sitting on top of the paint. You can have bug remains, tar residue, and sap still sitting on that surface. But the most important thing is that you want to remember is you don't want to scrub any of this off. There's safe ways to remove this stuff, including all this rubber residue that Jack has on his car from the track. We're going to use W7 tar remover. All right, the last step in the car wash process is to apply tire shine, and some people like it, some people don't. It's a matter of personal preference. I happen to like tire shine. I think it gives a good look on the vehicle. We're gonna use a water-based tire shine. There are solvent-based tire shines on the market. I personally like the water-based because I don't think it slings as much as the solvent, where it can be a little greasy. And this is pretty simple to put this on. We're gonna spray it onto our applicator pad. This is an applicator pad that I bought from Home Depot. It's actually to paint walls with, but it works well as a tire shine applicator. I start at the bottom and work my way around the tire and just do one nice even layer. We're gonna let this sit on the tire for probably 5 to 10 minutes. And afterwards, we're gonna come with another microfiber and wipe off all the excess here so it doesn't sling on the side of the car.